Today we are going to learn about arrays in the Java. So first we can write the sample program and name of the class will be main, and I can write public static void main. So suppose we want to store marks of students, like we have three students. So we can store marks of students like int student 1 equal to 10 marks, and similarly we can store marks of second and third student also. Second student got 20 marks, third student got 30 marks. Okay, so like this we can store the marks of the students and we can print the marks also. Like, so what we are doing in this program, we have defined the student 1, declare and initialize the student 1 with the marks 10, and we have declared and initialized student 2 with marks 20. We have declared and initialized student 3 with mark 30, and we are printing marks of the student 1, student 2, student 3. So let's run this program and see the output. So our execution will start from the main method only, from here only. Okay, and first this line of code will be executed. So C student will have 10 value. Then again we are declaring and initializing student 2. Student 2 will have 20 value. Similarly, student 3 will have 30 value. See here, student 3 has 30 value. And here we are printing marks of the student 1. So marks of the student 1 will be printed in the output section. Okay, so it will print 10. Then we are printing marks of student 2. Marks of student 2 is nothing but 20. And marks of student 3 is nothing but 30. So we are printing 20 and 30 also. So this program is working fine. Suppose we want to store marks of 100 students. So we need to do for student 2, then student 3, then student 4, then student 5, then 6, then student 7, then student 8, up to student 100, and that will take a lot of time. Okay, we have to declare student 99, student 100, then we need to print those students also till 100th student. So how we can do this in a better way? How we can store the marks of 100 students in the better way? So we can use a concept called array in the Java. So what is array? Array is collection of similar data types. Okay, so here see, our data type was integer, and we were storing integer value 10, integer value 20, integer value 30, because marks student 1, student 2, student 3 all will have marks in the integer value only. So data type of these kind of variables were integer only. So in array concept we can store collection of data of similar kind. Similar kind means either data in the array will be either integer or short or float or double or string or character or object or class type. Okay, let me remove this line of code. Suppose I want to create an array of integer type, integer array, then I need to put this open and close bracket. Okay, open and close bracket means this is array. It means compiler will know we are creating array of integer type, and array will be students, like students. Okay, array is students, and this is sign of the array, and these students will have integer kind of value. Okay, earlier also we have seen, like, we declare variable like this, like mark. Okay, first we declare a variable, then we can assign some value like mark equal to 20. So this is known as a declaration of the mark variable, and this is known as initialization of the mark variable. Okay, so here also similarly we have declared the students array, and now we can initialize student array here equal to new. We initialize array with the new keyword new int, and size of this array is nothing but 3. Okay, currently let's assume we have only 3 students. Array capacity can go up to 100, 200 or 500 students also, but for sake of understanding we are just taking 3 students only. Okay, here semicolon. So this is the structure. This is a one way to declare an array, then initialize array. When we initialize an array, what happens? In the memory, array will be created like this: 0. Default value for integer type will be 0 only. 0 at the first position, 0 at the second position, 0 at the third position. So 0. So this array is initialized. Array has 3 elements: first element, second element, and third element. And default value of these elements are 0. Default value for integer data type is 0. Okay. If we print this program, then we can write like system students 0 at zeroth index. This is the zeroth index, this is first index, this is second index. Okay, so we are printing value at the zeroth index, value at the first index, value at the second index. So let's run this program and see the output. It will print 0 0 0. At line number 4 we have declared a array of students, and data type of this student array is nothing but integer. Okay, and at line number 5 we are initializing this array. So, and we have passed 3 number here. It means this array capacity of this array will be 3. It means this student array can have 3 members in this array. Okay, it can have 3 elements in the student array. Okay, because we have defined the size. 3 is nothing but size of this array, size of this student array. So student array will have 3 elements. So see, we have created line number 5 is executed already. So we have created students array. Students is nothing but reference to this array. Okay, this is our array, and student is reference to this array. Okay, this student's name is a reference to our actual array. So we have declared array with the 3 members. So at zeroth index, 0 is present because 0 is a default value. At first index, this is index, 0 is present, 0 is a second, 0 is a default value of integer data type, and second index 0 is present, 0 is a default value of integer data type. At line number 7 we are printing array of student of 0. Student of 0 will nothing but 0 only. So here 0 will be printed. See, 0 is printed. Now we are accessing a student of 1. Student of 1 will be 0 only. Okay, so 0 is printed. Now we are accessing student of 2. The student of 2 will be 0 only. So 0 will be printed. Okay, so right now we are just printing the default values. Okay, so we can assign some values also. So okay, so like students 0, our first student will have marks like 10. Okay, first student got the 10 marks, and the student 2 will got the 20 marks. We have initialized array with the 3 values with the 3 members, and index will start. This is called as index. This is known as index. Index will start from 0 to n minus 1 to size minus 1. Size is 3. So last element, last index of the array will be 3 minus 1, which is 2. Okay, so array will start from the 0th index, and last element of the array will be size minus 1. 3 minus 1 will be 2. Okay, so array of 0 will print 10, array of 1 will print 20, student array of 2 will print 30. Let's run this program and see the output. So we are creating at line number 5, we are initializing array of size 3 with the default values. Default values will be 0 because data type of this array is nothing but integer. So integer will have 0 as a default value. So see, this student array is getting created and it has size 3. So index will start from 0 and last index will be size minus 1, 3 minus 1 will be 2. Okay, so at 0th index we will store the first student marks. At first index we will store the second student marks. At the second index we will store the last student, which is third student marks. So at line number 7 we are assigning 10 marks to the first students. Okay, 10 is stored in the first student. See here, now we are assigning 20 marks to the second student. So 20 is stored at the first index of this array, and we are assigning 30 marks to the student 2. So we have assigned 30 marks in the student 2. And here at line number 10 we are printing marks of student 0, first student, and we know at 0th index 10 mark is stored, so it will print 10. At line number 11 what we are doing, we are printing marks of the student 1. So at at the first index 20 marks is stored, so it will print 20. Okay, and at the second index student marks will be 30. Okay, at second index 30 is stored, so it will print 30. This is how we can declare and initialize the array, and then we can assign the values to the array, and we can print the array. Okay, so we have seen like we can create a variable mark. Okay, we can declare a variable, then we can initialize this mark variable with the 10 value. So this is how we can declare and initialize the variable. First we have declared the mark variable, then we have initialized with the 10 value. This is one way to declare and initialize the variable. And we can declare and initialize variable in the same line also, like this also. Here we are declaring the variable and we are initializing also. So this is declaration plus initialization. So similarly, like this variable we can declare and initialize variable on in the same line. Currently we have declared this array variable at line number 4. At line number 5 we are initializing this array students, and array students will have default values like 0 0 0. So similarly we can declare and initialize this array in the same line. So this is declare plus initialization. So we are declaring and initializing this array on the same line. Okay, then line number 7 we are assigning values to this array at 0th index, at first index and second index. And here we are printing value stored at the 0th index, then one first index, then a second index. Let's run this program and see the output. So this is a second way of declaring and initializing the array. Earlier we were declaring array in a separate line and initializing the array in the separate line. Now we are declaring and initialize the array on the same line itself at line number 4. Okay, so see, this array is initialized with the default 0 values. Okay, this is first index, second index, this is 0th index, first index, this is second index. Okay, and we are assigning value 10 to the 0th index, then 20 to the first index, and 30 in the second index. We are printing value at 0th index. 0th index we have 10 value, so 10 will be printed in the output screen. Then we will print 20, then we will print 30. So we have seen how to declare an initialize array in two ways. There is one more way. There is one more way to declare and initialize the array. Okay, so we can declare and initialize the array using the literals. This is known as a literal, and we can assign the value right away, like 10 at the 0th index, 20 at the first index, and 30 at the second index. So this is valid. So we don't need to do like this 0 then 1 then 2. We don't need to do this. We can declare and initialize the array in the same line itself, and we are not assigning default values. We are assigning the actual marks of the student. Okay, our first student will have 10 marks, second student will have 20 marks, third student will have 30 marks. So this is the third way to declare and initialize the array. Okay, this is our array, and students is nothing but reference to this array. Okay, so students will have reference to this array. Okay, let's run this program and see the output. So here using this literal we have declare and initialize this students array. Let's execute it. So now array is initialized with the actual values. We don't have default values here. We have initialized the array with the actual values. So 0th index will have 10, first index will have 20, second index will have 30. Here we are printing value stored at the 0th index. Okay, throw students reference of variable. Through students reference variable, we are printing the value stored at the 0th index. So 10 will be printed in the output screen. Let's run this program. See, 10 is printed. Now we are printing the value at the first index. So 20 will be printed, then 30 will be printed. Okay, let's suppose currently we have only 3 students, so we are able to print the marks of each student like this: system.out.println, system.out.println for first index, then system.out.println for second index. Suppose we had 100 of students, then in that case we have to write these lines of code 100 times. Okay, and suppose we want to print the all 100 students mark, then we have to print till 100 times. We have to print this line 100 times with the respective index 0 to 99. So this is very heavy work. This is very, I mean, labor kind of work. So instead of doing that, we can use loops. Like we can use for loop, like for int I equal to 0, I less than. We want to iterate in this array till the length of the array. And how we can find out length of this array? We can find out like this, like that. Students dot length I plus plus. So students dot length will give us 3, and we know index is starting from the 0th index and last index will be size minus 1. Size is 3, 3 minus 1 2. So it will be valid for 0th index, for first index, for second index. Okay, for third index 3 less than 3 will not be valid. It will become false. System dot out. So what we are doing, we have declared and initialized students size of this student array is 3 only, and we are iterating using the for loop I equal to 0 to I less than students dot length. Students dot length will be nothing but size of the array. It will be 3, and we are printing students at 0th index, then first index and second index. Let's run this program and see the output. So initially line number 4 will be executed. We have declared and initialized this student array with the actual value. This student is a reference to this actual array. Okay, this is reference variable. Students is a reference variable to this actual array. Okay, see, this students is a reference variable to this actual array, and here now we are iterating this array, iterating over this array through the for loop. Initially I will be 0. See, I will be 0, and we are accessing 0th element. Students of 0 will be nothing but 10. So 10 will be printed into the output screen. See, 10 is printed. Now we are doing I plus plus. So I will become 1. I will become 1. See, I is 1, and array of students of I means students of 1. Students of 1 is nothing but 20. So 20 will be printed here. 20 is printed. So we are incrementing I, so I will become 2. Okay, and 2 less than 2 less than 3, this condition is true. 2 less than 3 condition is true, and we are printing students of I is 2, students of 2. So students of 2 is nothing but 30. So 30 will be printed into the output screen. So 30 is printed. So again we will increment I will become 3, and we will check for this condition. 3 less than students dot length, size of this array is nothing but 3. So 3 less than 3, this condition is false. 3 is not less than 3. So this condition is false and we will come out this for loop. Okay, so execution is completed, and through this for loop also we have printed values stored in this array. Okay, so we can, for now we can remove this for loop. Suppose we wanted to access suppose we wanted to access the marks of the student number 3 only. So size of this array is 3, so last student will be the second. So we are not accessing this array sequentially, we are accessing this array through the index randomly we are accessing this array. C30 is printed first index. So array allows random access, so randomly we can access any value, any element in this array. So randomly we are not accessing this value sequentially, like for 0th index, then 1st index, then 2nd index. We are directly, we are directly accessing value stored at the first index. Okay, let's run this program and see the output. 20 value is stored, so 20 will be printed. So similarly we can access for 0th index also. For 0th index 10 will be printed. See, 10 is stored at the 0th index. And suppose if you want to access at the fifth element of this array, then it will be error, it will throw an error, because we don't have fifth element in this array, we have only 3 elements in this array: 0th index, first index, and third index. We don't have any element, any value at the 5th index, so it will throw an error. So see, this is throwing error, this line of code is throwing error. uh, Array index out of bound exception. Okay, it is throwing a error because we don't have any element at the 5th index. Okay, our index starts from the 0, and last index of this array will be size minus 1, and size of this array is 3, so last index will be 2nd index. Okay, and array index starts from the 0th index only. Suppose we want to access the value stored at the minus 1 index. We already know that index starts from the 0th index in the array. Okay, so it will also throw an error. See this array index out of bound exception, and we can access value stored at the 2nd index in this array. So we can so we have figured out that array allows us random access of values in the array. Okay.